we're going to move on to our cymbals to show how versatile Pintech is in the cymbal line as well. First, we have the TC cymbals. Very low cost, most economical version of our cymbal line. They also happen to be very sturdy. You can fold these guys in half and not break them. You might warp it a little bit, woohoo, but it will go back to its shape with time. Drummers love the TCs because they're very sturdy. They have a hard time breaking these guys. And with some of your heavy hitters who tend to break things, well, these work well. Kits, these are on the economical e-gig kit for beginners and entry level, because your really top pro drummer, he's not going to like these because they are so flexible. They spin unless you get them tightened really good down, and you don't want to put them on a cymbal spring because they're too lightweight. So for a professional drummer, it's not going to work. But they're great for the beginners, for the entry levels, for the person who's just tooling out in the garage and just playing for fun and doesn't really care. Another great thing about the TCs are that a lot of these gamers out there have found that the TCs work great as replacements for the rock band cymbals. The next lineup is the PCs. This was to give a more rigid cymbal. You cannot fold this in half without breaking it in. It's also less resilient to the heavy hitters, but it's a slightly heavier cymbal. The triggering is cleaner than it is on the TC cymbals, so a lot of drummers like these. However, if you're a heavy hitter, you break brass cymbals, stay away from these. The next line we have are the Cymbals. Now the Cymbals are a PC with a rubber coat, which makes them even heavier still. So a lot of drummers like that. A lot of drummers also like them because it adds a larger strike surface area. Instead of just having the strike pad, you can hit the cymbal anywhere and trigger it. The one limitation to that is if you got the dual zones on the cymbals, because the dual zone chokeable, your choke strip, your box, your trigger box is here. Your choke strip runs from approximately here to here. So if you want to grab it and choke it, you got to have that box down there. You're going to want to hit it there. You got to hit it on the edge, on the choke zone to trigger that second zone. The Cymbals and the PCs both also come as in a ride with bell version, where you actually have a bell zone as well. So you can have the bell or the bow. The ZBs, along with the Visualites, which we're going on to next, are the only other cymbal that has a 3-zone. The cymbal ZB3, you can actually get in a 3-zone, bell, bow, and edge. Next we go to the Visualite cymbals. The Visualite cymbals are, a heavier weighted cymbal. These are what our drummers say are the closest to the look and feel of an acoustic cymbal. They're weighted heavier. They're definitely a more rigid material. You can't bend these in half. You could try, but there's no way you could. It's too hard of a material. These are all hand-formed, custom-made, to order for every kit. Now, we do have that down to a limited time. We usually take 3 to 5 days, 5 days tops. We're generally running the 1 to 2 days on most orders. This is one of the colors. This is black. I have the other colors here. They're very rich. The translucent colors are very rich colors. You've got the translucent red ruby, the translucent yellow gold, the translucent blue like a sapphire, and the translucent green. These have all been etched, which brings me to another feature that Pintech can do as a customization is we can engrave our customers' cymbals. If you've got a band that wants a special logo or something engraved on their cymbal, we can do that. We have actually done that with this set here. Okay. That this was actually a band, Serve 247. That was their logo that they wanted engraved. It's engraved in the cymbal. And then the artist just had a little fun and did a skull and a Tasmanian devil. So all those, she can engrave anything. Just send us the artwork. If we can do it, we will. If we can't, we'll be the first to tell you that we can't do it. But we will be more than happy to try. Back to the colors, we also have your standard white, black, clear. We do have a smoke as well. And then you have the fluorescent colors. You have the fluorescent blue. These really are more notable for the way the edge kind of lights up and glows. You can see in the fluorescent green, it's very vivid. The fluorescent yellow and the fluorescent red. In some light, sometimes it can look pink, so you got to be careful with the flow red. Although Will Calhoun of Living Color uses the flow green and the flow red in his setup. Keith Harris of Black Eyed Peas is using the flow green cymbals now, and he has him a set. This is a copy of his set of the new Visualite hi-hats. The new hi-hats actually have the controller mounted in between the cymbals. So this way, when you're working your foot, your cymbals are actually opening and closing as your foot's open and closing on your hi-hat stand. These are great because it's all in one unit, and you have your two triggers, one for your control, one for your cymbal. You don't have to buy a special hi-hat stand. It's going to work on standard acoustic hi-hat stands. The clutch is a permanent part of the hi-hat. You can't take it apart. It's a permanent part, so you just need your standard. All hi-hat stands that we've seen are the standard diameter of that shaft, so these will work. Another great feature that Pintech can do that so far no one else has done is we can actually use a drop clutch with the internal mounted hi-hat controller, so that the heavy metal drummers can actually have an electronic hi-hat with a drop clutch, which allows them to free up their both feet for their bass drums. Visualite cymbals come in single zone, dual zone chokeable, the dual zone ride with bell, so you have the bow and the bell. The dual zone chokables are the bow and the edge, with the edge being chokeable. And then we have the 18-inch 3-zone ride with bell, which has all 3 zones. Oh, and the Visualites, and I didn't bring a sample, but the Visualites also come in a true china form. You can actually get an electronic china that's shaped like a china, because all the Visualite cymbals are molded to true acoustic cymbals. That's what the mold is a true cymbal. So we've used an acoustic china, 18-inch china, to create the mold for our 18-inch Visualite